Woo-hoo! We are back. What is up, Dirt Sheet Radio? It is your boys, and we are going to be covering this episode of AEW Dynamite. What an amazing action-packed episode this was. We had a lot of amazing, great matches. Honestly, I'd say they stacked the whole card for tonight. But hey, we're going to be talking all about that and then some. But I am Nick LaRocco, Neek Dynamite, and I'm joined by some awesome people. Fellas, in the order that you joined the stream tonight, let everyone know what your name is and what you're doing here.
How's it going, guys? As always, I'm Caesar, hanging out with these two fun gentlemen, discussing that thing we love every Wednesday, AEW Dynamite. Looking forward to sitting down with you guys and talking about AEW, as well, hanging out with our boy.
It's your boy, Robbie, here once again with another wonderful night of professional wrestling in the world of AEW. And boys, hell of a night tonight. I am stoked for Full Gear coming up next weekend. Everybody's bringing their A games on, so let's get it on. Let's talk some AEW.
All right, and hey, per usual, we're going to be starting off with the main event, and guys, what a match that was. Kings of the Black Throne, honoring the House of Black, took on FTR. You knew it was going to have to be one of these two teams that takes it, but it's just like, who do you call for this? Like, how are you supposed to predict this? We, of course, had Cheesecake and Private Party watching this contendership match. This is to qualify for the four-way at Full Gear, and oh my gosh, guys, I didn't even write any notes for this. I had to just turn to my TV and watch this match go. And we got to see, of course, Brody King basically killing a man in order to get the victory, because these guys had to fight to the death if they wanted to win this match. And yeah, the stakes were high, and you'd think this was a tag title match with how hard these guys were fighting. But I got to throw this over to my boys. What did you guys think of this? Robbie?
I am not going to lie to you. I had FTR winning that match, especially because of, like, when was the last time you've seen FTR in a tag team title match live on pay-per-view? It's honestly, to me, it's been quite a while. So I was thinking maybe they were going to let FTR come into that match and run a little turmoil there with the Outrunners, but I was surprised by it. But hey, House of Black torture. Malachi Black, Brody King, two excellent guys. They were actually in the last multi-tag team match at All In. So the fact that we were going to bring them back into, and the way that match was structured, that was perfect. And the fact that they even got the Shatter Machine on Brody King, I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, they must be setting up to get this Shatter Machine on Brody King, which that is not easy to do. Brody King, he's a big boy. He's meaty, like, and
360 probably.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Super heavyweight.
And the fact that that match was so entertaining, a lot of false finishes in between each tag team match, I was hooked onto my seat. But I am not going to lie. I did predict FTR to win. I am shocked as a wrestling fan myself, because I was looking at it as, on paper, I would book FTR to win. But damn, all four of them. Great job tonight. Wonderful match.
No, I completely agree with Robbie on this one. I mean, the only part I don't agree with him about is, like, you're saying you wanted FTR. Personally, I couldn't decide. I did the same thing Neek basically did. I wrote down FTR, Kings of the Black Throne. That's it. And at most, I sat down, had my drink, relaxed, watched. You have to love the taunting, though, when Malachi... not Malachi. Dax swung at Malachi, and Malachi did his thing and did the cross-legged pose. That is so creepy, but it's executed so well. Mm-hmm. And of course, FTR being smartasses before the commercial break on the outside did the same thing too. But they almost added a little bit of like a flair to it, but it was like just enough to be coy, almost we'll say. But on another note, hell of a match. Mm-hmm. I could have cared less who won, because the way it was going, like, you would have thought the belts were on the line. So,
exactly.
The ultimate question you got to wonder, though, is, like, who's going to be the fourth team? That's what I'm trying to figure out now. Looking at the match coming up Saturday? Yeah, Saturday, right?
Yep, Full Gear. Or Collision, I should say.
I'm not going to lie. with me being a huge Acclaim stan, I hope the Acclaim gets it. I'm a big fan of Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. I just love their work, so I hope win.
They're awesome. I completely agree with you on that one.
You do have to look though at the art of the balance in pro wrestling. Typically, you'll always have 2 face teams, 2 heel teams, and we already got the 2 face teams in there. And I could easily see them wanting to give Roosh and especially Beast Mortos that kind of run in that feature. And we've seen too, they really want to feature Mortos as much as they can, either in backstage segments with how many different stables.
Mortos and not Malachi, Brody.
Ooh, meat. I'm
not saying we shouldn't do it, but I'm not saying we should do it. I'm saying it's gonna happen.
I'm just saying if they go into the 4-way tag match and you got those guys, I guarantee you're going to have some hilarious moments with the Outrunners just standing outside watching and just like either spinning around or just getting like the most extra reactions to it, like an 80s referee would.
Is it weird that we're basically going to have these 3 teams against Private Party and possibly Private Party going over? Or do we see this title run ending super quickly? I don't want it to end.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want it to end, but I see the talents they're going to be throwing in here. If you got like the top 3 merch sellers and Outrunners being in there, I believe they're number 3 right behind AEW themselves and Will Ospreay. You got House of Black, who, you know, with the rumor mill wanting to say Malachi's leaving and other rumors saying no, he's not. I can see them wanting to give him something too because he deserves it.
I wouldn't be against House of Black winning out of the 4 of them if I had to pick a team, but
House of Black winning would be okay.
I wouldn't even be mad.
I kind of want Private Party to take the whole thing. I mean, it's a true test for what everything they've become. They don't want to me, at this point they should bring Private Party to win this match just to prove that they are a strong team and that win against the Young Bucks wasn't nothing at that point. So I'm actually wanting them to book Private Party to win and nobody else because of that.
But what I'm saying is, like, if we had to pick a second team that would win it, I'm saying House of Black personally. If it's not Private Party, I'm assuming you're gonna say Acclaimed, Robbie.
I think actually, if the Acclaimed isn't in, even if the Acclaimed is in, I would have also say the House of Black to be
3 of us on the same page.
So I would agree.
We need to ding ding bell.
Like, just imagine how cool it would be for Malachi and Brody to just hoist up those tag titles. But like, again, if Private Party loses, we have thrown away them wanting to, you know, sacrifice everything, sacrifice their teamwork, their friendship, putting all that on the line to win the titles, and then within a month, boom, they're gone.
Yeah, that would be the biggest little finger. But again, we've all predicted, if not them, House of Black is the next team. But good match tonight, though. That was awesome.
For sure.
Tremendous.
And yeah, I've seen across the board on so many websites. I've seen along the social medias, so many people are rating this either an A or an A+ match. And I got to agree, these guys were tremendous together. Right? And them shaking hands was absolutely necessary. They needed to do that.
No, I was going to say that was hella cool.
Yeah.
Scripted or not, I don't give a shit. That was really cool.
The respect was 100% deserved. I almost hope it was unscripted just because of the fact all 4 guys just went above and beyond. We even heard Brother Zay was reacting to it. That was such an incredible match. Everyone and the audience stood up. There was not a person sitting down by the end of it. It was wild. You can see in the eyes of Cheesecake, he was watching it and enjoying himself.
Dude, Cheesecake was totally vibing to it with the boys.
Yeah.
That's coming from Cheesecake.
I remember just watching Brother Zay's reaction is him saying, "Man, they almost got me. They got me on that one."
Was Mark Quinn even talking when they filmed them?
Quinn was just awestruck at everything going on in that match.
Yeah.
Not to mention when they came to the ring.
It was Brother Zay do most.
When they came to the ring at the start of the match, you could tell Quinn was like, "We have these. These are ours. Are you guys sure?" Like,
and you just see Mark just pouring the champagne down into the bucket of ice.
For FTR, of course, which sucks. But anyways, that was a hell of a match. We got 3 of the 4 teams, and Saturday we'll get the 4th team.
Oh yeah,
LFI. Sorry.
I'm okay with LFI again. Push Mortos. Push Roosh. Roosh really needs something.
Dude, I feel like Roosh is gonna actually be the one guy who could probably chop down Brody King.
Oh, why would I love to see that too?
I want to see it, but I want to see it like this.
Oh man, like I'm just picturing now, dude. Like
I just want to see Roosh take Brody King out with a spear. That would be great.
I'm thinking about like Roosh and Malachi just like throwing blows, trading left, right, front, center.
I feel really
all between those two.
I'm just gonna say it now. If we get LFI as the fourth team, we're gonna get both these guys chant at Full Gear during that 4-way. Don't know who,
yeah,
but someone's getting to both these guys.
I'm surprised we didn't get both these teams chant running for this match.
We did get a few chants tonight. I will touch base on them once we get to them. Because I want to make fun of a certain someone, not one of us, of course.
Make fun of a certain city.
Oh, you caught it too then. Anyways,
if you didn't post it in the group chat, I genuinely probably would not have figured out what it was.
You might have.
I was having trouble hearing
like,
it.
You probably would have been like, "What are they? What? Huh?" Oh,
yeah.
So,
because once you said what the chant was in the group chat, that's when I was like, "Okay, that's what it was."
The one thing I will say,
that's going to be talked about.
Before we start spoiling it and going back to the start of the show, is it with the E in the middle or no? Because I'm trying to figure out how to spell it without. Again, well, you know, guys can touch base when we get there, but it's not code red. It's it is what it is. You messed up on your promo. Good job.
To be continued.
When we get to that part of the segment, and now back to wrestling.
Back to wrestling, and we will take it up to the very tip top of the show. Where honestly, when you look at the talent in this match, how can you not say this was a main event? Because quite frankly, you got Christian Cage, you got Hangman Page, and on the other side, you got Juice Robinson and the Switchblade Jay White. I mean, come on, you got 4 of their biggest worldwide stars in here. It was so cool to be able to see these guys in there. We, of course, had Hook stopping Nick Wayne in there, and Nick Wayne's brother, Kip Sabian, strikes using Christian's metal frame contract. Juice Robinson in the head. That looked absolutely brutal. Yeah, Juice doesn't have a skull anymore after that. But Hangman Page was able to take advantage, hit the dead eye on Juice, and get the pinfall for the team. Caesar, what were you going to say about this?
Crap. I'll give you a minute. I'll remember it. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the match. We got to see a lot of the AEW stars and talents in here. If you're going to open a show, I think that's definitely the way to do it, is to just throw out. If you're not going to do a promo, put as many stars as you can right here in the open. You had a lot of AEW originals. You had just a lot of involvement overall with a lot of their development stars. Or I shouldn't say development like as a territory, but more so just their stars that are building up and we've seen on the rise as of recently. I did see something on Twitter, and I want to get your guys' take on this. Some people have said that Nick Wayne is a much more successful prodigy and getting much more of a better rise through the ranks than Hook. What do you guys think of that?
Honestly, I can understand why people would say that. Nick Wayne, he's one of these guys that have been coming in, week out, improving everything he's been having, has more of a charismatic factor with his promos as well than Hook does, because Hook still has to learn a little bit more on the mic. And I can see why people are saying that. I mean, Nick Wayne is alongside Christian Cage, who is a future Hall of Famer, who's giving him a more of a boost in this faction. And then seeing what Hook has been able to do, athletically, Hook is gifted. No doubt about it. But I think what separates Nick Wayne from Hook, it's the promos. And in professional wrestling,
that's a huge thing.
Anywhere you look, doesn't matter what promotion you have, charisma is a big factor with promos. And exactly, and Nick Wayne has definitely got it. And I can see why people have been saying that Nick is better than Hook in the rankings that way.
I will back up Robbie on this one, because I was thinking about it after you had mentioned it, and then Robbie basically pushed Nick to the ceiling with the charisma factor, all that jazz. I feel like this is gonna be a funny way to explain it. I feel like Hook needs to get the Shelton Benjamin treatment, and what do we mean by that is like Hook needs to like maybe go on an excursion, like what's his face did, and Jungle Boy, and gain some size, gain some experience, and gain some mic skill, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Yes, Hook is hella over. Yes, Hook's been having cool matches here and there. But by a certain point, you almost want to say he's plateaued.
Yeah.
But Is it on every factor? Maybe. But is it a plateau? Very much. So, Nick is definitely flourishing harder.
Absolutely. And, Nick Wayne definitely has had, some doors open for him with his, connections, especially ones that his father made. But, the same thing is what applies to Hook as well. And Nick Wayne, though, he has just taken the ball and run with it. And it seems like he's constantly, every month, every year, just getting better and better. And he's truly a prodigy. I mean, he started young. He obviously trained with his dad probably as a very young man. And then, through his teen years, he's developed alongside some of the best in the world. He's had great matches on the indies before AEW, with Darby and Swerve. So, we know he can go. And he's just been able to refine so much. And Caesar, to your point, I definitely think Hook should just spend time, like, if he gains like 20, 30 pounds of like muscle mass and goes on an excursion to Japan, especially, it's like being able to go through there, develop more like strong style experience. I think that would absolutely help him and his wrestling style immensely.
And I also think maybe too, besides going to Japan, maybe he should also go up to hit up north to Canada and go work with Scott D'Amore as well. Because Scott D'Amore.
Oh my God, I never thought about that one actually. I never thought about that one. Absolutely. I got one for you guys actually. Now I think about it. If you're
Robert, AEW is awesome.
Thank you, Robert. Glad to see you here.
It is awesome.
No, what I was gonna say was like, if you guys right now, could think of how many things Nick has done in his matches versus, again, singles matches, versus how many things Hook has done, who's got more of a move set? And I'm talking like,
it's definitely Nick Wayne.
I was gonna say the same thing, but if you think about it, like if you look at Nick's move set, I'm not gonna count everything, but there's a few, and you look at Hook's, I almost feel like Hook's almost plateaued already, where Nick is waiting, if that's the right word to use. Like he's got more in the chamber, but he's not just like firing off. Like he's going as he goes. So like if he's got a match, he's like, okay, I'm gonna give it a good match. This one I'm gonna give it a decent match. Whereas it looks like Hook's just like full send, full out every match, and just giving it everything when he shouldn't be giving it everything.
Yeah, Nick Wayne's arsenal is just absolutely immense, and Hook definitely runs with that like sports entertainment style where holds for the show, maintains that showmanship after and before every move, and the like 5 moves of doom that Hook has, and
maybe 6.
Maybe, yeah. I think he's very much a by the numbers type of wrestler, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But I think one of the biggest things that they did wrong with Hook, and like you guys said, the charisma thing, exactly. He should not have talked. He should have just been a silent killer. He should have been what WCW did in those early months and even the early year with Goldberg. He should have just been coming out, kicking ass, taking names, not saying a single thing. Because we've all heard Goldberg talk. Imagine if he was trying to cut promos in those first couple months. Dude, the streak wouldn't have mattered anymore because nobody would have gave a crap about Goldberg. And Hook absolutely was. It was the biggest mistake they could have made was to have him talk. And he was doing so well early on because, again, he had Taz to talk for him. When we had Hookhausen, he had Danhausen being very entertaining and talking for the team. He never needed to talk. And he had the silent charisma. He had the it factor in spades when he wasn't talking. And that was something that I hope they can figure out a way to get back to, because not everyone needs to talk. And Hook especially.
Or should.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I agree with you. We'll come around when it comes around, if it comes around.
Yeah. But Caesar, did you remember what you're going to ask us?
Absolutely not, because I looked at my notes and I was like, oh my God, I know what we're going to talk about next. Let's get to it, please.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to skip over Mercedes. No. So we, of course, have Mercedes Moné and Camille backstage.
Hold on. I remember what I was going to say now.
Ooh, okay.
This is the best segment of the night. Go on. Just go.
That's coming from him because he turned off the TV because he saw Mercedes and was just like, okay, I'm satisfied.
I was about...
And then no Statlander.
I mean, Camille was there, and that's pretty good reason to be there, but go on.
All right, so Mercedes Moné and Camille were backstage with Renee Paquette, and Mercedes is completely and utterly, as you should always, deny any attempts to run over Chris Statlander last week. But instead, you know what Mercedes did do? Blame it on Camille just not being able to drive. Camille was absolutely getting obliterated verbally, and how much more can she take? It feels like this was Christian Cage talking down to the Kill Switchosaurus, and she just sends Camille away because Camille dropped the jacket. How do you do that? But guess what did happen? A wild Statlander appears.
Yeah. I mean, oh yeah.
Bad luck, Camille. I swear. She just keeps being in the right place, wrong time. Gets bumped out of the way. Stat goes right after Mercedes. Finally, Camille runs back up and is just not able to do too much because guess what? Chris Statlander drives both Camille the Brickhouse and Mercedes Moné through a freaking wall in the arena.
Yes!
This was wild. Caesar, I gotta go right to you on this one, man.
Holy shit! That was as soon as that happened, I put my drink down and started screaming in joy because
It's Mac.
Mac's here. I mean, I don't scream for Mac in joy. I just say hi to Mac. No, like Renee always does her job amazingly. We love seeing Renee. Also, to answer your question, it's a $20,000 jacket apparently. You know, because some people spend $20,000 on a jacket. I would spend maybe like $200 on a jacket because up here it's cold in Canada. But you know, why would you do Camille like that? Like, damn, shut the hell up, please. She's taller than you and probably could squat your body weight or, you know, bench press you. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen Camille bench press a car.
Like, you clearly hired her because you know what she can do and you know how physically imposing she is. Why are you challenging her?
I'm pretty sure Camille could fold up Mercedes like a table. A table that doesn't fold. I mean, what happened? I folded the table. But anyways, no, Mercedes completely got obliterated. I saw Chris in the background. I started jumping up for joy and got excited because I was like, shit's gotta go down. But seeing her get put through a wall by wrestling lore, that means, right? Mercedes is out for 6 to 9 months now. Kidding. She's not. I wish she was. And I'm seeing that because her character is boring. Because she's like, Bridgeport! And no one responded. Well, I mean, only the simps did. See, Neek does it better than she does it. And we get more viewers from that. That's not me. That's not me simping. That's just me telling the truth.
Hey, listen, you ever seen the way Osprey did it?
Neek versus Osprey, full gear main event right there.
Oh, spoiler alert.
How
did you know?
That'd be great.
Oh, Meltzer reported on it.
Yeah, sorry.
We'll pull some Don Callis
exclusive
shenanigans on that one.
I like that we did indeed gain a viewer from that. You know who you are.
Neek's just gonna do that. That's the rest of the night. And pull viewers in.
All right, see ya. It's just this constantly. Max says when Brock Lesnar put Matt Hardy through a wall backstage during the 2003 SmackDown, Hardy wrestled later on the next week.
Pro wrestling.
And if I'm mistaken, too, like, wasn't he taped up too for that match the next week? Just to sell the injury.
Remember,
so I better see Moné and Camille both.
2002 and 2003, you had to sell that Brock Lesnar killed you if he did anything to you in that year or that week.
Why do I feel like Brock back then would like completely destroy you and then check on you? Like he'd like stomp your face and they'd be like, "Are you okay, bro? Hey, are you okay?"
I can only hope.
Well, that's if Brock liked you. If he didn't like you, I think he just didn't give a shit.
You were a little too annoying backstage, as we've heard a couple of stories of people that have had bad interactions with Brock Lesnar for one reason or another.
Bork laser beam.
Bork laser.
I don't know why Sony would have a bad interaction with
him.
Who
misses the boombox dancing era with Paul Heyman? That shit was funny as hell.
That was gold.
It looks stupid as can be, but it was so fun.
Oh yeah, the Brock box.
They should have called it the Whirly Bird to the F5. Could you imagine that? That's it, the Whirly Bird.
Oh man, take away all aura from the next big thing.
No, it wouldn't have. I think it would have like ruined everyone else's day. But it would have been funny as shit. You hear like JR, by God, he's going for the Whirly Bird.
All right, the Whirly Bird.
They should have called it the Whirly Bird.
Man.
Shit.
Hey, we're gonna go from a whirlybird to an osprey. We
Obviously,
had
Harold's
an
assassin.
absolutely tremendous promo here.
You've heard us say
And
it, by the way.
what was I gonna say, bro?
Bruv.
Bro, Coil
Well,
and osprey.
I hate
Coil.
this look of Kyle. It looks like someone's like janitor or a school teacher.
Yo, can we talk about though the fact that like Fletcher looked absolutely jacked when he walked out on the stage?
The only thing
he's been looking jacked week
he's
in, week
only
out.
flexing because he's got sky blue on his arm.
I mean, that's totally a reason to flex. I gotta say, flex Fletch. All right, but you know this.
Flexure?
This promo was absolutely wild, and it started off with Tony Schiavone talking to Will Ospreay. Tony accidentally calls Takeshita Konosuke Katesha, but hey, you know what? That's okay. We love Tony Schiavone. He's been at it a long time. He deserves a break on.
Aren't they different people?
And he's old,
exactly.
So he deserves it.
But we get quickly interrupted by Coil Fletcher. Fletch looking absolutely jacked. Fletch calls Ospreay a hypocrite and says Will would have and has done the exact same things that he's done to people like Okada and Kenny Omega. Ospreay says, are you nothing like me, or are you just an Ospreay clone? He's got him there. Ospreay owes up to everything that he did, and he mentions, though, that in doing so, he's accomplished a lot along the way when he does that. And Ospreay, and I wrote this in all caps, demands to know what Fletch has done all on his own. Yes, Caesar.
Did you guys notice how when he mentioned his accomplishments, he didn't say anything related to New Japan? Like, he just said he's a junior heavyweight. He said he's a... was another one he said, and then he said he's the best of the Super Juniors, but he didn't say New Japan,
or even the mention of the IWGP, which I was honestly shocked about, considering the relationship
probably
AEW and Japan
it's
has.
probably out of litigation, where if like he mentions it, they might get in trouble. So just to be safe, he didn't mention it.
I mean,
they are partners.
The working relationship, I think, allows them to. I think a lot of it was more just the flow and the direction of the promo, because it might take too long.
He said NJPW over and over. Probably, you're right.
NJPW, IWGP, you know, so that's a little bit of a tongue twister if you keep trying to say that and throw things out really fast.
Not to be rude, but I feel like some people don't follow certain companies.
Exactly.
So they'd be like, "What?" Like kind of like with Robbie was saying, IWGP. They'd be like, "What the frick is that?"
No, and I think that was honestly a good call, because it felt like this was definitely the big show that they were building for people to, you know, start getting that hype for the pay-per-view. So I think if you're going to have a show so close to pay-per-view time, you know, the week before and then the week before that, I think it was a good call to try and make it as easily accessible for people that might just be casuals.
Promos on top of each other.
Mac saying Mark Davis cut a promo after Dynamite saying Ospreay hooked up with Callis first, and this is all Will's fault. Ooh, we got a little dissension going on there.
Oh damn!
There was that moment. We'll get to it in a little bit where Ospreay jumped Fletch while Davis was yelling at him, and Davis didn't look too pleased at the way Ospreay did that. And Davis and Fletch really haven't done too much in terms of really attacking each other. They've had talks, but they've really just attacked each other's boys, and that's been it.
Was anyone else kind of shocked that oh my god, Hobbs was on Ospreay's side?
No, I did not, honestly. If we remember from last week, we learned that Will Hobbs, as he returned, that his obligations with Don Callis' family were up, and that Don Callis didn't even bother to hit him up to say, hey, do you want to come back to
the stable of monsters?
So him being on Will Ospreay's side...
No, what I'm getting at is, like, you wouldn't have had that in the cards, is what I'm saying. Like, you would have thought, it's probably going to be, like, Davis, Ospreay, and...
Ricochet or something.
Probably, yeah. So seeing, I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. I'm just like, ooh, okay.
I was gonna say, like, I was surprised. I did kind of forget that Hobbs was kind of working with them, so it was nice to be able to see that. But you know, getting back to it absolutely is, and you know, getting back to the promo here, I think there's a lot to gain overall from anyone that's getting involved with these two guys, because again, Ospreay is so good, and I'm gonna just say it right now: Ospreay's intensity and his it factor is absolutely.
Oh shit!
I think his mic cut out.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
All right, yeah, I was just gonna say that
Okay.
Will Ospreay is the type of guy AEW really needs to build the company around. But getting back to the promo here, Ospreay demands to know what Fletch has done all on his own because we're just gonna ignore any of his Ring of Honor television title runs. And Fletch says to just not look at the past, but look at the future, what he is going to do. Fletch challenges Ospreay to a match at Full Gear. I think we all can see that this is going to be an absolute banger of a match. But before we get too much into it, Murder Hawk and the Machine come out to back up Fletch. But Ospreay says he has some friends too. And in comes Powerhouse Hobbs and Mark Davis. It's brawling, baby. Gosh, what a segment.
No, what I was going to say is, like, I'm just going to put this out there right now in regards to Full Gear. I know we still have a week or another episode of Dynamite, but I'm going to say this right now. If Fletcher wins, it's going to be with Don Callis means. And if Ospreay wins, it's going to be by Ospreay means. That's what I'm saying now.
Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah. I agree with
Mac.
Mac.
Loves Mark Davis's story arc. It absolutely is tremendous. And Mac also says their first match was great. This one will be even better. Fletch has gotten so much better since then. And I have to absolutely agree. He's really come into his own.
I agree.
He's uncoiled himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also, I wanted to add this too about these promos, both of them. Fletcher's promo game is getting better every single week, and the fact that he was able to stand neck to neck with Will Ospreay, to me, nobody won over each other. It was just back and forth, very personal, as we all know, and seeing that Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher were both giving each other stingers, then Ospreay also going in and saying, Kyle Fletcher, what you did also traumatized my 6-year-old son, and because of that, I have to do something about that. You didn't only disappoint me, but you disappointed my kid, and now I got to sit there and whip your ass at Full Gear, which has been perfect. This story of how it's been building for the last couple of months has been brilliant. Talking about the screwdriver and seeing Will Ospreay take the screwdriver because he knows Fletcher has it in his back pocket.
Yeah,
taking that screwdriver and throwing it, and the way that thing landed right into the mat. Perfectly.
Got a great
visual.
Oh, it was a great. Yeah, I agree.
And
yeah,
just to see that, I cannot wait to see these two just go at it at each other. We all know.
1 week.
I think this match is gonna be bloody. This match is gonna get bloody. Screwdriver might be getting involved here too, and I'm also loving Mark Davis's arc as well. And that we pointed out too. Maybe this is where Mark Davis double crosses Will Ospreay and remains with the Don Callis family, or even double cross both of them, and he's on his own.
I wouldn't go that far.
I kind of like the idea that he just doesn't care for either one, although it's unfortunate in the sense that I don't really foresee a whole lot more going for Mark Davis with the size of the roster and everything going on after this storyline ends, unfortunately, which sucks because I am really invested in everything going on with, both of the Aussie Open guys, but Fletcher's on a whole other level. Like, I don't think any other up-and-comer really is going to compare to him right now because
Kip,
he has been going all in. Yeah, Kip's close, but Fletch is just next level, dude. Like, the way he's cutting these promos with pure passion and energy, he was able to match up with Will Ospreay. And, I mean, Ospreay is very much, he's not known for being a promo master, but he has some of the most passionate promos in all of AEW. And Fletch stood toe-to-toe with him, and that's absolutely incredible. And I'm glad that Fletch is able to stand off as more of just a single star and less of just a tag guy.
No, what I was getting at is like Fletcher, like Fletcher is up there, like for sure. But like in regards to promos, the closest person so far in like who's gaining right now with Coyle would be Kip, and he's a young gun among the other many on the roster that are young guns. Like not on the exact same level, but like he's Kip. Every time we see him and what he's doing, he's getting higher and higher and higher.
I have to say, I'm glad that Kip is getting the spotlight with everything with the Cage family. Once again, we're throwing another week out there to wishing nothing but the best for the Killswitchosaurus. Hopefully, he just feels.
Have we heard anything yet?
I personally haven't.
Posted anything about him?
I haven't seen anything yet.
No, I haven't seen any news. Unfortunately,
Well, one question I will ask is like, do we know if he's still in the hospital or did he get sent home?
I haven't heard one way or another.
Okay, because last time I heard, he was still being like attended to.
Yeah,
which in a way, that is also kind of a good thing too, because then that means we just don't know when he's going to come
And-
back, and then we'll be all just shocked when he
For
does
all we
return.
know, he's been already decommissioned, whatever the term is, from the hospital, and he's at home just chilling.
Hopefully.
You know what I mean? Like,
keeping kayfabe
Yeah.
alive.
that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, again, like you said, Nick and Robbie, best wishes to him. Get better. Don't be fast. Come back when you're ready.
Absolutely. Health is much
Yep.
more important. Hello there, Mr. Mike, another representative from Canada.
Hey, and Canada. He's from downtown Canada, though.
Oh, the downtown. Very nice.
Yeah.
But yes, we had an absolute brawl here, and I really liked
hated
the way we had it.
transition.
Really, I kind of dug the transitions because we had just from this to the next match, and then from that match over to the following match. I thought it was decently done.
You know what they
It was
should
the greatest.
try? Is what New
Me was
Japan does
confusing.
when it comes to people leaving. Is we're like, if you're gonna leave, you go through the barriered audience thing, and then
Even WWE does that now
Yeah.
too.
like if a match is starting, you guys go this way, so
Yeah.
people can like look both ways and watch different things happen, rather than trying to go through the same entrance. It looks kind of weird.
Here's why I did appreciate it in this moment was it just makes sense because we know that the Murder Hawk is an absolute killer. So Roddy being able to get the jump on him in this no disqualification street fight was absolutely 100% pure strategy. It really didn't do much though because he's an absolute monster. So the Murder Hawk does what he does best and take the much smaller wrestler
He murders.
into the backstage area. Murders. If only we could see it. This brings new definition to truly a dark match. And we barely see Roddy getting chokeslammed through a table as they go to commercial, but we come back and it is just all out mayhem. They're going through the stands area. Someone even drove 30 minutes to see Lance Archer. Good for them. I am
I
so happy.
swear when I cried.
I laughed on that
I didn't
one.
catch that one.
But yeah, this was absolutely a fun match. And all in all, we got to have some more involvement from Brian Cage coming in there. We thought we were going to see Roddy take a very brutal power bomb and choke slam combo on the concrete, but Bennett and Taven jump in there with the save. Honestly, that was pretty cool. I'll be honest, Mac, I hope you're listening to this. I have really been digging Matt Taven a whole lot more lately. Roddy ends up getting the big victory, and he stands tall. He has now defeated Shane Taylor, the Beast Mortos, which was a very good story-driven match, and now the Murder Hawk Monster to get his 3 victories to take on MJF at Full Gear. Before we get to lovely transition here, what did you guys think of this match overall? Robbie?
The match itself, it was very fun, very barbaric. I love the signs too, with the 2 signs we just put up on for the screen. It was very fun. As we mentioned too, I wish the production team would have at least put that spotlight on there a little bit quicker and faster so we could see what was going on behind the stage between Archer and Strong.
It warmed up after
everything. Yes. And for me, it was like, it took a lot away because I wanted to see what was going on. But they did make up for it for how the match was. Brian Cage, Lance Archer as a tag team, again, looking like strong-ass monsters. Mm-hmm. And having Roderick Strong come in and overcome that and getting that win, and with the help of Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. And as Nick was saying, too, like, I love the fact, too, that Matt Taven has been getting a lot better, too. Because everything I've seen from him in Ring of Honor wasn't translating to what I was seeing in him in AEW, and now he's starting to really pick up that steam, which I'm really happy for Matt Taven, because I was actually a big fan of him when Vincent was teaming up in Ring of Honor, which is great. The fact that we've now got Roderick Strong versus MJF at Full Gear, it's going to be a wonderful match. Roderick Strong, as Mac said, he is a low-key GOAT. He is a damn good wrestler. We're going to get the best out of him at going up against Maxwell Jacob Freeman if somehow it's just a one-on-one and they don't add Adam Cole to a triple threat. But I'm also going to say this too. This is a one-on-one between MJF. Bring the End of Heartache. Yes. Please. I need it. I want it. Otherwise, I don't
Not
want
that
the
I'm
match.
trying to be this guy, but I also want to be the guy who actually discusses stuff. Matt Taven. So what's with the glow up? The literal glow up of Adam Cole? Like, he looks like Mr. Burns from the Simpsons episode.
I had an answer. If you've seen it in the chat, I made the joke saying it's because he can't go get a tan
I
over in
did see
Pittsburgh.
that. I did see that. You said the Berg, but yeah, I did see that. But
Yep.
I don't want them to do it. Maybe maybe they know that this could be a sick match, so they're gonna put Cole on the side because they're not sure if he'll be fine in time. Like, what if this was just a test to see if he's okay? And he's okay, but they're like, you know what? Roddy's got more of a push or all that. So they're like, let's give Roddy the match, like the big pay-per-view match. And then we'll give Adam the match at like December's World End kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, save it.
And I'm gonna actually add on. Yeah, I was gonna add on to what Caesar was saying. Maybe too, they maybe just waited out for Wrestle Dynasty in Japan too. Get a bigger match and a bigger story up on a bigger stage in Japan, and that could be it too.
To kind of borrow off what you're saying, Robbie, because Wrestle Dream is like what, the 4th or 5th, and then like World's End is like what, the 28, 29. So
I believe.
So the jet lag is gonna burn them so hard.
Yeah,
but
it will.
Wrestling,
yeah, that's definitely something to always bring up. Mac, I want to throw this out to you. I gotta say, Mama Larocco, and myself,
mother approval.
Exactly, we've both been talking about appreciating Matt Taven a whole lot more lately. So if this happens, then I'm okay with it. Give Taven his due.
I will actually kind of
is well due for him.
Speak candidly when I say that yes, Matt Taven's quote unquote aura has gotten better. He's not just that guy who carries the tag belts around and shows up on TV. Now he's actually playing in the pit with the big kids. Yeah. So that's good. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Right, him, Roddy, and now Mike Bennett. What's going on there? Yeah, Mike Bennett's like the one guy who's just kind of there. The 3 of them, which sucks.
Also, could we take a moment to going back to Roddy? Roddy, to qualify for this match, he took on 3 very big dudes. You know, Shane Taylor, Beast Mortos, the Murder Hawk. I really like that for Roddy. I always liked it when smaller wrestlers able to get one up on the giants. I think about when Rey Mysterio was the giant killer way back when. I want Roddy to continue to be a killer of anyone because he's one of the most experienced guys on the roster when you think about it. He's probably one of the last remaining 90s wrestlers too, because he started like 99, maybe 2000. Like he's just been at it for so long, like 25 years practically, and it's nice to be able to see him finally getting his due within a major promotion. And like you said, Robbie, please end a heartache. Let's go. Mm-hmm. It'll be so cool if he walks out to that at the pay-per-view.
I don't care if you're gonna get Kill Switch engaged and perform live on it with.
I don't know.
Just do it, please.
Well, technically they have 2 singers now, don't they?
Let's get Howard.
No, they're both. They'll
Howard,
probably both do it, but I do agree with you. They should just do it.
Yeah, just get it done. Let's see.
Get it done.
There we go. Yes, this was. We had MJF watching on this match with a smirk after Roddy qualified. Max! Roddy screams into the mic, but doesn't really get to say too much because Takeshita jumps him from behind. And Adam Cole, Bebe, runs on in there. And did you guys notice Coleslaw took his sweet time coming down to the ring for this match? We had a transition from this match into the next match as Takeshita gets clotheslined right out of the ring so Adam Cole can finish doing his entrance. Boom, Adam Cole, Bebe.
What did you call Adam?
What did I? Coleslaw?
I think it's really funny you mentioned that because I'm scrolling the Twitter sphere and someone put, and I quote, "He's the same color as his Titantron." LOL.
Oh,
like you can't share the picture, but I'll post it to our group chat, and you'll see what I'm getting at.
All right, everyone, throw out what you want. Mac's going to start manifesting a push for any wrestler.
Matt Taven.
Yeah, keep the ball rolling. Make Taven a superstar, Mac.
Gold. Okay, let's see this damn thing on the group.
I'm trying to post it here 1 second.
While we get to that, the music was going on. Adam Cole did the boom and the baby right in front of Takeshita after knocking him out of the ring. There were a couple parts going through the match where it felt a little awkward, and it seemed like Takeshita was doing his best to almost protect Adam Cole at different parts and kind of use his strength to balance things out a bit more. They were definitely getting into their groove as the match went on, which it almost feels like this has been the same thing for the last couple of Adam Cole matches, where it starts off rough, but then it really picks up steam as it goes towards the later parts of the match.
If I may chime in on this whole doubleheader of Undisputed Kingdom matches, which one did you guys care for more, the Roddy match or the Adam Cole match?
For tonight or in general?
The Roddy match for me.
Specifically.
Roddy.
Is it weird that we have a 3-way tie on that one? Like, don't get me wrong, Cole,
I think so.
Cole has an awesome aura on him, but when he walks out looking like, the same color as his Titantron, I kind of want to ask him if he needs some antibiotics.
His color is not right, and I hate to seem like I'm body shaming Adam Cole, but it doesn't seem like he's really taking good care of himself physically either.
Body shamed, canceled.
To be fair, I mean, listen, he had a long-term injury and he went through a breakup, so I understand.
No, I completely agree with you.
That's more than a breakup. He went through a divorce.
Is it really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't think they were married.
I don't think so.
I thought they were.
I'm about 80% sure they weren't. But if Mac wants to chime in and tell us things, because he knows everything.
Max says Takeshita losing would have been a mistake. He killed him with that
Thank you.
A German suplex.
Me and Mac are on the same page. I was like, if Takeshita does not go over, I'm going to throw my remote at the wall.
What I will say is it's always fantastic to be able to see Adam Cole wrestling, and I'm glad that we're able to see him for the third week in a row. And he was in a match with Takeshita. Mac confirming also that they were not married.
That's right, but that was weird. Then everybody online has been lying. This is why you don't trust internet people.
Don't trust the internet. Only trust Dirt Sheet Radio and comicbookclick.com.
Do we have a link for that?
Exactly.
We do. It's comicbookclick.com. But exactly. MJF, he was smirking earlier during the Roddy match, but he was genuinely laughing as his plan was coming together for this, because Takeshita popped on the ring that was given by the insanely large Duke Davis and just bopped Adam Cole right in the face with it, and Takeshita gets the victory. I don't think a lot of us who's been watching consistently were surprised. I'm sure some of the casual fans who probably know Adam Cole a lot better maybe were surprised by this.
Yeah, casual fans.
But absolutely, it was. It wasn't the greatest match, but it got decent towards the end there, and I have to give a huge shout out to Takeshita, because it seemed like he was going above and beyond trying to definitely protect Adam Cole there, and Roddy tried to go in there and save. Not only just save, but also to get payback on Takeshita, but Takeshita counters and kicks him in the nuts. Roddy did go through a pretty crazy match right beforehand, so, kudos to at least trying. Konosuke is getting ready to pop the ring back on to hit him one more time, but Kyle O'Reilly runs in with a chair to save the day. And when we think that was it, guess what? There's more, because Takeshita then tried posing on the stage, but Ricochet sneaks up from behind, kicks Takeshita away.
The living snot out of him.
Exactly.
He did.
He retreats, and that was probably the best call after that kick he took, and he left the international title behind, which Ricochet picked up. At the very end of all of it, both Roddy and Adam Cole tried to shake hands with KOR, but O'Reilly's just like, I'm not going to do anything like this ever again, and walked away.
I'm actually impressed that Ricochet could flawlessly do that while wearing a suit.
Right? It looked great.
Yeah, that's.
I almost want to go buy a suit and try and do wild shit tomorrow or on the weekend and see if I could pull it off.
If I tried that, I would rip the suit immediately.
I was thinking that.
Real.
I like what Max said. Ricochet came off as a heel pretending to be a babyface, but honestly, when you listen to a lot of the promos and things he's been saying, that's pretty much been his run here.
It's coming off heelish. Yeah.
I love that. If anyone's going to jump on with them. I'd say absolutely Ricochet would be a great choice.
And also, good way too of teasing the next international title match between Ricochet and Takeshita for sure. Because if we remember in that triple threat match at the last pay per view, Ricochet wasn't pinned. So therefore, Ricochet is technically, in pro wrestling terms, the number one contender.
Pro wrestling terms,
and the next in line for the international, and he's next in line for that title.
That's a very valid point right there. Max saying Matt Taven for Hurt Syndicate. I'm okay with that. Why not? I wouldn't. Who would expect that?
He leads it.
I wouldn't mind
that. It'd be a change of pace. No one would expect it. So let's do it.
Matt Taven for Dirt Sheet Radio.
I really, really enjoy that. We're gonna make sure the Mac Taven podcast takes off. Also, Fletcher should beat Ospreay clean. There we go. Mac, please manifest this.
Manifest us winning the lottery.
Manifest it all.
Yes, please. Everyone, chat, make sure you pop whatever you want, Mac, to manifest you right there in the chat. But we follow this match up with the Hurt Syndicate being backstage with Renee Paquette. MVP is just saying Bobby Lashley is one of the most decorated and dominant champions in the history of professional wrestling. And again, I'm getting complete Jiren vibes from Bobby Lashley. I said it last week, and I'm still getting that. He looks like the absolute beast and monster that he is. And Bobby Lashley says that Swerve is in dangerous territory, and he is a danger to everyone as well. And he's going to be hurting. He's not going to just wrestle and pin him cleanly. No. Bobby Lashley wants to physically hurt, annihilate, dominate, whatever word you want to say. He's going to destroy Swerve at Full Gear. But do you guys have anything to throw out there with that? Otherwise, I'll move on to the next segment.
No, I'm just waiting for the next segment.
When it comes...
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about the Hurt Syndicate in a bit. Robbie?
For me, it's Swerve. Watch for the Hurt Lock. It's coming.
Absolutely.
It is coming.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And speaking of, people coming on into the ringside area, we have the Death Riders taking over Dynamite, as they said they were. JD Drake was waiting in the gorilla position, trying to get ready for his match, and he just got attacked and waffled with some steel chair shots. Shout out to JD Drake being on Dynamite. My question here, and I mentioned this in the group chat, where was Beef? We've seen Beef and JD Drake coming up.
Maybe it wasn't beef. Maybe he has a connection with somebody towards OC, or maybe they just did a random ass whooping just to prove a point.
It was a random ass whooping. But I was just wondering because we've seen JD Drake teaming up with Anthony Henry's cousin Beef while Henry's been injured, and it's a pretty good team. And I've been watching them on Rampage and Collision, and I really am
watching them on Beef.
Quite sports entertained by those two guys together. Beef is very athletic, and so is JD Drake. Honestly, it's great to see those guys wrestling.
Is he ground beef?
JD Drake
is a new workhorseman. He basically got tenderized by the Death Riders.
Honestly, I want them to do more with JD Drake. Ever since I watched JD Drake and Austin Theory back in the Evolve days, I've been a huge fan of JD Drake. So honestly, Tony Khan, put JD Drake on more. You got a hell of a wrestler there. Give him a proper
partner.
He's got the potential. That too, give him a protective partner. Hell, I love to see him in singles action because he's a great singles competitor as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, speaking of great singles competitors, look at everyone that's been out here. You, of course, JD Drake, but then the Death Riders. And speaking of great single stars, Jon Moxley, with one of the most romantic lines in AEW, says he's just been thinking about Orange Cassidy a lot the past few days, and he has been playing a game very, very well. Moxley also gives a shout out to Chuck Taylor because he has been drinking from a straw, and Orange just did not save him. Moxley says that Wheeler Yuta belongs to him and the Death Riders because, again, Orange couldn't save him. And, I mean, pointing out there to JD Drake, a wrestler that got obliterated on Orange Cassidy's watch, who was just getting ready for his match. Moxley and the Death Riders are running roughshod and trying to say a lot of things that Orange Cassidy is doing wrong. Orange Cassidy comes out there, though, and right then Claudio and Yuta stand right at the ringside area ready to go for a fight, but Mark Briscoe and, of course, Rocky Romero come out there to back him up. Moxley says everyone will see what they will do to Orange Cassidy, and they'll see that Orange just isn't the leader that he needs to be, and they're going to hide because the Death Riders are going to do whatever they want to do. And Orange Cassidy, he agrees. he agrees with Moxley on a lot of things that he said. And Orange truly believes that Moxley will do everything that he says he will do. But Orange Cassidy also says that he, being John Moxley, holds the symbol of AEW, and he's just buried in the desert and nothing else seems to matter to him. Orange Cassidy is going to do whatever it takes to destroy the Death Riders. He's going to do whatever it takes to bring back home that AEW World Heavyweight Championship, because it needs to be maintained for a wrestler. And Orange also challenges Wheeler Yuta, that traitor. And when we think that there's going to be a huge showdown here, we got that challenge out ready to go. Orange says he is going to remove the pawn so he can get to the king. Moxley accepts the challenge for Yuta, and he has a message for everyone to abandon all hope. As the Death Riders go to leave, someone wearing a Sting mask jumps out through the crowd like 15 feet up in the air, landing on all of the Death Riders. Wait a minute. It's not Sting, it's Darby! Once again, flying down to try to attack the Death Riders, and that's when the conglomeration run in there. Shout out to Orange Cassidy, also kind of pushing Marina Shafir out of the way. Don't know if anyone caught that. Shafir takes Moxley. They run out there to try and escape the brawl. There's a lot going on. The Death Riders abandon Wheeler Yuta, but Darby jumps on into the pickup truck as they try to drive away. They fight. Claudio throws Darby into the door as Yuta finally makes his return, and they all leave, and Darby Allin screams to Castagnoli, he is still standing.
Did anyone else notice Marina trying to hit people with the suitcase?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't even sound like he was hitting. It was sounding just like come on, Marina. You're supposed to have.
It's like one of those things is where it's like, I hope the camera is watching.
It had it all in the moment.
Max saying Moxley taking over the Superstation. The ghost of Gordon Soley, the mastermind of the Death Riders, confirmed.
Oh,
that's what it is. That's what it is.
Listen, buddy.
It's confirmed.
Dusty Rhodes taking over the Superstation, baby.
Hit him with a suplex.
He got a bicycle.
That's his new move. Bicycle.
It was absolutely chaotic, and I'm glad though that we've got some big name guys getting involved here with a Briscoe, a Darby, and Orange Cassidy, because all of these guys, they've either been like, looking at Briscoe, he was a heavyweight champion. You got Darby and Orange, who are two of the hearts and souls of AEW, if Moxley's not truly that anymore. So I thought it was great that they had these amount of guys around.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly agree too. I mean, that and plus it gets talent a lot more time to get their shit in, as they say too, in the industry. And that was a very fun and chaotic brawl between everybody. And the fact of how Darby went and chased that truck down and just jumped into that truck. Yeah. That took a lot of skill to do too, because they ain't easy jumping over a pickup truck just to get into the damn bed. And the fact that Claudio hit him with the most lethal swing I have ever seen him do, the fact that Darby wasn't folded or concussed after that, and possibly maybe concussed after that, and still won it more, that gave me such more flashbacks to where Jeff Hardy was telling Undertaker back in 2002, I'm still standing, I'm not dead yet. And that was one of those moments. And this is also one of the things I'm going to say, it's definitely building up for Darby to take that title. Week in, week out, I am seeing those little seeds and pillars into it. But I will say this, though. It's not going to be a mutilation, John Moxley. I love you, John, but Orange is a fighter. He's an underdog, and he's going to make you claw to even win that title back. And I'm hoping it's not just going to be a squash match. I am hoping that we're going to get the same match that Mox and Orange had before, and it's going to be right down the middle to a point where nobody's going to know if it's Mox losing the title yet.
Absolutely.
Why do I feel like it's going to be Mox winning and Darby winning the belt at like World's End?
I don't think they're going to do World's End. I think they are going to push it a little bit more because AEW is good for long-term storytelling. Yeah,
definitely.
So I wouldn't mind seeing it like next Double or Nothing.
So like
for sure.
March, I think.
Around May, I think, is when Double or Nothing is.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, they definitely need some time to cook there. And honestly, too, when I'm looking at a picture of Briscoe and Darby and Orange, if you think about it, there's a reason those three guys in particular were really standing their ground for AEW, is because if it wasn't for AEW, would either of the three of them just have a national stage they could wrestle on and say that they were champions?
No.
Especially Mark Briscoe, especially where they've had that little ruffle with WWE where they almost made it, but it never came into fruition for other things that happened between him and Jay.
Right. So, it makes sense to me that we're going to be able to see these guys, standing their ground. Max says, I might have to ask Taven in person at Hammerstein if he will come on and do an interview with me here. Yeah, Mac Taven, let's go. Mac, please do.
Mac Taven.
I am begging for that. Manifest the meme, man. Manifest the meme. But hey, speaking of the meme, hi guys! The Learning Tree is backstage with Renee Paquette. Jericho accepts Tomohiro Ishii's challenge to face him in 2 weeks on Dynamite for that Ring of Honor heavyweight title. He's going to be taking on the Nueve. That's truly going to be one of the matches of all time. Nothing more to really say about that. They did give a shout out to their time wrestling together on WAR in Japan. And like Max said, rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. Jericho once again name dropping Jay Briscoe. He cannot keep Mark's brother's name out of his mouth. Makes me think that we're going to probably have a rematch sometime in the near future, maybe, for Mark to take that world title away from Jericho at some point. I could see if Ring of Honor does get their major TV deal in the near future or streaming deal or whatever it is, I could definitely see the first big show of that being for that title and for Briscoe to take it from Jericho.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, it's going to be at Final Battle, since it's going to be held in the Hammerstein Ballroom. That's where Mark Briscoe takes it back, because the Briscoe brothers is synonymous too. It's not just ECW that is synonymous with the Hammerstein Ballroom. It's the Briscoe brothers with all the ladder wars they've had in that ballroom. I would love to see Mark Briscoe get the title back in the Hammerstein.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, just look at the picture of Mark on the stage. Like, your eyes will immediately go to him. He has the it factor in spades. Like, anyone that's a casual fan, anyone that's a hardcore fan, you'll love and respect Mark Briscoe for what he can do. He's got such an amazing style that it can go deathmatch for the hardcore fan. It can go redneck kung fu, and all of the little kids in the audience are going to be happy with that. That's pure marketing right there. He is just a one-of-a-kind talent. I'm so happy that he is able to have this time to shine, and yeah, I hope nothing for the best for Mark Briscoe's career moving forward. How exactly, Mac? That redneck kung fu is something else. But we'll go on to the next. Yeah, we'll go on to the match of Britt Baker taking on Penelope Ford. Is this even advertised? I don't really remember. And
it was. It was.
Oh,
it was
okay.
advertised. I wasn't looking forward to it.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, it is very predictable, and it feels like Britt Baker's just really been phoning it in. I know she did stuff for the TIA, so I don't know if that's been truly affecting her, if she's completely ready for her comeback. But the finish saw Penelope Ford locking Britt Baker into a Muda lock, and Baker got a really good reversal on it, I have to say, and it was a lockjaw for a submission win. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, gets the victory, and after the match, Serena Deeb came out on the stage and was staring down Baker. It's been a while since they've interacted, but it definitely seemed that they were building towards a match, and for whatever reason, something delayed it, but it looks like we're revisiting that. But fellas, what do we think of the match?
I mean, the match itself was okay. I mean, Penelope Ford, I just wish Tony Khan could do a lot more with the character development of the women that haven't been on as much as like a Britt Baker was, because Penelope Ford, she has stuff there. It's just we just don't see her enough on AEW television to really see what she's got. But however, the whole thing with Britt versus Serena Deeb, we're definitely building on to a rematch from what they had a couple months ago on Dynamite that we've seen before. And I think maybe somewhere down the line, maybe we see, honestly, with the Serena Deeb versus Britt Baker, I want to see a submission match off those two. For sure.
Makes sense.
Because you got the lockjaw, and plus Deeb is a great technical wrestler. Why not? Hell, make it an Iron Woman match. I don't care. Do something where Deeb and Britt Baker are going to have a hell of a match.
Iron submission match.
Ooh. That's a good one.
Best 2 out of 3 falls. But they do it submission style.
Submissions only. Let's go. Caesar, what do you think of this match?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it subtly because I told you guys earlier. I had some other things happening at my home, so I didn't catch very much. But I'm not surprised at the ending.
Yeah, not much you can really say. Didn't really care for this match, honestly, at all. But I thought the finish was pretty cool. Anytime we get to see a Muda lock, I think it's iconic. And the way that was countered was smooth.
The thing that kind of
It was
bugs me,
smooth.
if we're referring to like women's division, I've got two names I want to throw in the hat, and one has a huge push and run behind her, and one has barely been pushed, and that's Julia Hart with Penelope Ford. If you look at the two of them,
Yes.
Julia Hart's been pushed to the freaking moon, whether it's title belt wise or character wise, and Penelope Ford's just kind of there.
And the thing is, it's kind of wrong in my opinion because Penelope Ford's also been with AEW since day
Original.
one. She was one of the first hand-selected women to be part of that women's division. And for how long she's been there, why have they not done more with her? She's a great asset. At one point, she was just brought on as being a lackey for Joey Janela.
Oh, I remember those days.
Like, there's more there. She has potential. Tap into that.
Yeah, it felt like
That's all you have to do.
Exactly. It felt like they kind of abandoned anything that came down to Penelope Ford. Like, it felt that they had some sort of direction or plan when she was paired up with the Bunny, but at a certain point, when the Bunny left, it just felt like, again, what do we do with Penelope Ford?
Where is she now, by the way? Bunny or Allie or whatever.
I
don't
saw something
know.
about her refereeing a match recently, but honestly, I'm not quite too sure. I know Blade's been hurt. Let's see what the Bunny is.
Okay, the one question I'll ask you guys, and of course everyone here in our amazing chat, does it seem like when male wrestlers come back from injury that they still have some of their fire from the crowd, but with women in, it's almost like a select group of women have it, but not all of them have it? Or do they all have the same fire when they come back with the crowd? What do you guys think?
I think it just depends
Yeah.
on which has more stardom. Like for example, if somebody like, let's say, I'm just throw a random name out the hat, like a Jamie Hayter, who gets injured. That Jamie Hayter, if she's injured and she was champion beforehand, she's gonna get that big pop. Or even a who's right now, Toni Storm, when she comes back, she's gonna get a huge pop just because of how much of a star she is. I think it's just all about who is a bigger star and who's being executed well, and that's resonating with the fans
No, that makes sense.
than it is being with who isn't resonating much. Like, for example, with you, Caesar, if Monet gets injured and she comes back, you're not going to give a shit.
No, I'm gonna,
'Cause she's
I'm
not
gonna
resonating
break a
with
beer
you,
bottle
you know?
on a window or something.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, but like all the things she's been saying on social media, makes me cringe heavily. I'm
do
the
have
best in
to-
the women's wrestling division. No, you're not, hon.
Speaking of the best of the women's division, I have to say, Willow, I believe, is hurt following a match in Mexico, but I know when she comes back, that reaction's gonna be fine.
That's
No,
going to
but-
be a pop.
But Willow,
Yeah.
she's one of those women that I had no idea about at first. And when I first saw her, I was like, who the hell is this woman? And then eventually she started throwing hands like a monster. I was like, okay, I gotta watch. And some of the shit she's done, whether it's the CMLL championship she had or anything in between, holy shit.
Yeah, she has been absolutely on fire. So I cannot wait to see when.
You almost want to consider her one of like the heavy hitters in the women's division.
For sure. And honestly, if you ask me, to me, Willow is definitely the top 5 in that women's division right now, for
Which
sure.
sucks because she's injured.
Definitely top 5.
I can't wait for when she does come back because I love the fact that she is with the conglomeration because I want to see her take on Marina Shafir since no one else is going to really attack her.
Oh, they want to attack her. They don't want to die.
But hey, speaking of attacking someone and getting wrecked, we have another goated women's wrestler as Mina Shirakawa making her return. Mina is back, and she is gonna miss backstage. Hey, if y'all are following the Dirt Sheet Radio page, go check out the post John Escudero made. Thank me later.
He
And
explains a lot about her wrestling skills.
explains why we love professional wrestling.
And Mina.
Mina getting interrupted by the honestly super entertaining Harley Cameron. I have been very sports entertained by Harley Cameron in recent months. She has definitely been growing on me as a talent, but it's going to be this is a setup for a match between the two of them, Mina and Harley, the queen of Saturday Night Wrestling, as they will be fighting. And
wait, they were talking?
Oh. Yeah, there's not much we could really say. You know, you're just busy watching the match, and we could tell also Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness were very happy to call this match on Saturday.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. You know, just they appreciate good wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Good wrestling.
Wonderful,
amazing wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of amazing
wrestling.
Exactly. Speaking of amazing wrestling, we also had Swerve Strickland taking on Lio Rush. I knew this match was going to be a banger, and honestly, this match freaking delivered, y'all.
I'm sorry, but those jackets that Lio wears,
the comforters.
It looks like he bought a comforter from like Trader Joe's or like Bed Bath and Beyond or something on the way to the show. He's like, I'm wearing this color. It matches. Puts it on. Puts a couple sleeves through it. Oh my god! Like,
well, luckily AEW does have the legendary seamstress from WWE that can make that look like anything. He might have done it and just gave it to her. But like, here.
So there's no dissing at her. There's no hate towards her at all. I'm just wondering if did he stop at like the Kids Gap or like at like Walmart?
I want to know, like, did they cut off like half of the comforter so they can make the spikes out of it?
Like, if it was on his back and it was a Halloween episode, I'd have been like, "Hey, yo, Mario, there's Bowser."
Yeah, I get those references out there.
I'm sorry, but like every time he comes out to the ring, I just want to just throw what are those called? Like those foamy cubes you see in a ball pit at him, and just be like, "Here you go." Woo. Like,
I do really appreciate when he came out in like the sports jacket on Collision. I thought that was a nice look. I think he should stick with that a lot more, and especially the one he was wearing when he cut the promo for this match happening. Lio Rush mentioned that he still has that card that MVP gave him after his match with Shelton Benjamin.
Yes.
And
wait, hold on.
Yes.
Is there a Kids Hurt Syndicate?
No, there's about to be if Lio Rush joins.
Well, it'd be cool if MVP
Syndicate Junior.
It'd be cool if MVP drafted Kodak Black for the Kids Hurt Syndicate. Just saying that.
Yeah, let's get it going. Let's make sure we draft Nick, Wayne, and Hook in there.
No, they're more threats than he is.
But all joking aside, I actually wouldn't mind seeing Lio Rush with Hurt Syndicate. All those histories we've seen with Bobby Lashley and stuff like that. And plus, honestly,
got the connections to them.
I would rather see Ricochet.
I also kind of agree with the whole. I'd rather see him getting dressed up in a suit than all the comforters. And
no,
Lio Rush though, great athlete.
After seeing Ricochet do that jump in the air and 360 kick versus Lio Rush in the Baby Gap outfit, yeah, Ricochet would look way better in the Hurt Syndicate.
Honestly, though, like this match was 100% one of those matches where it's like anything you can do, I can do better. That amazing sequence right at the very beginning where neither one could really like hit the other, and then Lio Rush just moonsaults, lands on his feet off of the apron, and Swerve does that thing where he just leaps over and lands right on his feet. Almost broke his ankle doing it in the process, but he still stuck the landing, and it looks so cool. And they go to commercial on that. Man, that was fire. I had to share it on there on my Facebook, which, hey, shout out to that. Follow Nick Rocco on Facebook if you see it on the Dirt Sheet Radio page.
And also, one thing I'm going to add is after that wonderful match between those two, where it was from bell to bell, honestly, I was hoping they were going to wait for Swerve to not wrestle until he wrestled Lashley at Full Gear. But honestly, after seeing what Lio Rush has been able to do in AEW as of late, I hope they do more with him and hope they kind of like give him more of a winning chance on Dynamite, just like give him a couple wins, give him some momentum, because Lio Rush, he's been at it for so long, and he's a jack of all trades when it comes to his high flying repertoire that he has. That you can really put him anywhere you want. Honestly, even in the tag team division. And honestly, I'm also going to give it a hot take too, because he also has a demonic type gimmick that a lot of people hasn't seen yet. I want to see his demonic gimmick come over into AEW, because it is actually kind of fire when you see the Moth Leo Rush.
I mean, hey, you think about, that that demonic side that Swerve has, if you try stapling him or you push him too far in a death match, both of those guys can easily, go to a level beyond. And I really like that element. I wonder if there's something that would happen where maybe Leo doesn't want to join the Hurt Syndicate and maybe he wants to partner with Swerve, because it's clear after the events that we'll discuss in a moment, Swerve needs some allies.
I got an actual question for the two of you, and I know Mac's gonna weigh in on this one. Without me going on a social media hunt, roughly how many does the Hammerstein seat? I'm talking like, I don't want an exact number. I want like a ballpark figure without having to go on a hunt for it.
I can't even tell. All I can remember is just seeing how filled it was for the ECW one night stand pay-per-views.
I've seen multiple clips that my guess would be like 2,000 to 5,000.
Yeah, it's only a couple thousand. You're not gonna completely.
Because I saw a video. I think it was either Cody or Kevin Steen, and they did some heelish stuff, and the crowd blew up. It was loud, which was cool. So, AEW Collision and the Hammerstein and Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and it got loud too. Anytime ECW did a show, then the Hammerstein.
That's what I'm saying would be wicked to see, is like that room with a lot of people going nuts. Shit.
Yeah, it looks like somewhere in the range of 2,000 to 2,500 for the Hammerstein.
Oh, that's plenty for a Collision / Ring of Honor taping. Holy shit. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, just
and for final battle,
the stands in there, the way that it's set up. You're gonna definitely hear the audience. You'll know they're there.
Good. They need that.
Oh yeah, the perfect acoustics. I mean, Caesar, you're the Sound of Music guy. You know everything about that.
Yeah. Are we gonna talk about some of the stuff Swerve said now? Because I want to get this off my chest.
Yeah, I'll let you have that point, but the biggest thing that we had was after the match, Bobby Lashley, MVP are coming out onto the stage, and you don't see Shelton Benjamin. He's there, he's lurking around somewhere, but Bobby Lashley is getting ready to fight. MVP is basically letting Swerve know that he made a huge mistake not joining the Hurt Syndicate, and remember, Shelton Benjamin, he runs the complaint department, so you got a problem, you gotta take it up with him.
You run it.
Exactly. Shelty B runs up in there, and he takes down Swerve. He takes down Nana. Bobby Lashley gets involved. When you make Jiren have to fight, you've just messed up. And referees and security are trying to run down and save the day, but Shelton Benjamin is just staring them down. He doesn't even need to hit them. He's just pure aura, and this was such a cool moment where
60 pounds of aura,
right? Like, for a fact these guys would absolutely obliterate them, and security and the refs knew it. So I like the fact that we always see everyone attack the referees and security personnel, but these guys, I mean, they just looked at them and they knew not to mess with them. I thought that was a nice touch instead of the usual attacking them. MVP chokes out Prince Nana with a cane as Lashley hits the Hurt Lock onto Swerve, forcing them to look at one another as Swerve passes out, and Nana gets thrown into the ring post as Leo Rush watches the whole thing from the ringside.
I can't believe he actually just sat there and watched. Whatever.
Especially because remember, he's been teaming up with the Martins and Action Andretti, so he's been with faces. He came through the face tunnel, and he's definitely strongly considering that offer that he got from MVP. But Caesar, you could bring up the point you were going to mention.
Yeah, so I'm not American, in case you guys didn't know that are watching. And I notice stupid things when I'm listening and watching wrestling shows. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't tonight in Bridgeport, Connecticut? If I'm not mistaken. But
yes,
Swerve dropped a promo and yelled something like, "Here in Stamford," and the crowd would not let him live it down.
No,
Holy
he was
crap.
forced to. His last word while he's getting murdered by Bobby Lashley was the
This
crowd
is
chanting.
Bridgeport. This is Bridgeport over and over. I'm like,
Oh man.
holy TKO from the crowd. But
Poor Swerve.
An
listen, Hulk
ironic
Hogan.
TKO.
Listen, you don't forget the name of the location you're in. It's like Mike Promo 101. But
Even Mick Foley would teach it. You say the town name.
Yeah,
right.
hell, even The Rock wrote it on his wrist, remember? Or whatever John Cena said.
I still always think about the moment where it was following the Super Bowl. I think the Packers did win the Super Bowl, so R-Truth is like, Green Bay! And the crowd was like, ooh, and they're like, we're in Milwaukee!
The difference is, though, is R-Truth's character can get away with it.
He absolutely could.
Even when he was a heel, he could get away with it too. So it
R-Truth
works.
is goated, and I don't care what anyone says.
I love R-Truth.
Dude,
R-Truth's the
man.
guy I will cite when everyone's like, oh, no, you shouldn't be pushing people that are older than the age of 50 or 45. Like, R-Truth.
Well,
Or-
R-Truth is going on.
Or even just labeled as a comedic
Right.
wrestler, which that grinds my gears a lot. Like R-Truth isn't just a comedic wrestler; he is a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Like he can go. Who cares if he's there for the comedy? He can
No,
still
but that's
wrestle. And that's I hate
But
that
that's the
term.
messed up part is like you could just see him doing some really comedic crap and still put on a better match than some people who are trying the hardest.
Mhm.
That's the sad part is he be messing around
Yeah.
and still get better results
I think it's
at
like
50 plus.
It's just like it's another example is even in AEW with Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana isn't just a comedic wrestler; he can go
Oh, yeah.
too.
Wherever
But the
he's
record
been,
show, too, for R-Truth, he is going to be known forever, honestly. I don't think anyone will ever get the chance to surpass him as having more championship title reigns than
Oh,
any
God.
other wrestler
That's-
because he's one of the only people
With the
to
24/7
hold both the 24/7 championship and the hardcore title when that was defended in 24/7 rules.
I miss those days.
That is true.
So yeah, he's got like 100 championship reigns like in total. Like he is in a whole court of his own right now. So shout out to R-Truth, one of the greatest of all time.
And all I gotta say thing about the whole segment, in the words of good old JR, the Hurt Syndicate, all of them are tougher than a $2
Yeah.
steak. Because the fact that everybody did not want to mess with them after they took out Swerve and Nana, like, what can I say? Then tougher than a $2 steak, all of them.
Here's what I'm going to say. I got a controversial statement right now.
Uh-oh.
I think that the Hurt Syndicate are all much more threatening than the Death Riders.
I agree with that. I honestly agree with that statement because we looked at what the Death Riders are doing. It's more of like a metaphorical way of what they want for AEW. And then you look at the Hurt Syndicate, we're like, we just want to run this fucking company. Like, we just want to hurt our way through everybody, and we don't care if we plow you through. With the Death Riders, it's we want you to realize we have bigger things on the table. If you're not with us,
We just want
oh,
to plow.
Oh man. But you know what? I mean,
Wow.
this is one of those things where you got the two, giant heel groups that are going to eventually, you don't know when it's going to happen, but their paths will eventually cross. And when it happens, woo-hoo, I guarantee everyone will be standing up on their feet and all of us will jump up out of our chairs going, it's happening.
I think Hurt Syndicate needs one more.
I'm hoping it's for Blood and Guts.
Woo!
I'm hoping for Blood and Guts next year. Hurt Syndicate versus Death Riders in Blood and Guts.
Maybe even a woman included on both sides.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
hey, on
for sure.
social media, one of the people that received a card from MVP was Queen Aminata.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And also, he also gave the card to Monet as well.
No, shut up. No, Queen Aminata. Queen Aminata. Mercedes, I don't see Mercedes being able to do it. And Aminata has been a freaking monster in the women's division.
That honestly, that would also boost Aminata's
Like, even
status up to a hell of a lot.
even as she is right now, Aminata isn't like a huge name right now, but she's doing really well for herself. In the matches I've seen, I'm just like, who is this? But like in a good way.
Yeah, no,
So-
she is her.
So if she can hold her own just by like, dare we say, breaking bitches on her own, imagine her and Lashley on a tag team. Ugh. Scary.
Yeah,
In a good way.
Exactly. And hey, speaking of someone who has broken a lot of them B words, Jamie Hayter is backstage with Renee Paquette. Hayter says that she returned to AEW to right a few wrongs, but she's going to be going after one thing. What's that one thing? Who knows? Because guess what? Her promo just got interrupted by Julia Hart. Another amazing Julia Hart segment, definitely horror movie themed, and it follows up. I don't know if anyone watches Collision, but they had another segment where there was a woman in black who saw the cheerleader version of Julia Hart and shot an arrow through her heart. And she wakes up here and has that bloody area from that arrow shot. And she gets a phone call, and Brody King is calling her and says, "It's time to come home."
But what's creepy is how the phone is. Because it wasn't connected to anything.
No, the wires
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention that, like the phone, like the base was on the one side of the room, but the cable was on the other side, the metaphorical cable. Creepy.
Creepy. And hey, we had that follow up with the House of Black, which led us right into the main event that we discussed right at the very beginning of this show. So if you are just joining us, make sure after we are done here, you go and rewatch this because it'll be available on demand on Bullshit Radio's Facebook. But fellas, that was another amazing episode of AEW Dynamite. We got a few segments to go on and get through. So let's look right at our match of the night presented by all the Dolphin Pod shows. Go check it out. There's a lot of amazing podcasts on there. You can go and check out a few of them on comicbookclick.com. And hey, go look at the Dolphin Network and Countdown to Infinity, Revenge of the Sequel, of course, Major Issues podcast. So anything, if you're into nerd culture, go check it out.
Imagine being into nerd culture.
Yeah, all right. Yo, I'm gonna get nerdy right now because we had a lot of amazing matches on this show, so it's kind of hard to pick just one, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. FTR and Kings of the Black Throne. I mean, come on. That was such an amazing way to end the show. All of these guys put their hearts and souls into here. And it was all about scratching, clawing, ripping, biting to just to hold on and get that victory. This felt like this was the tag title match. So I got to go with this one. Who wants to go next? Caesar, you're up.
Well, I'm trying to think of a smart-ass way to explain this, but I'll just say it the simple way. It's the match between the glowing Adam Cole DLC versus Konosuke Takeshita. Yeah, like future DLC. No, it was a wicked match. It was an awesome turnout for how it went, and I'm so glad they didn't go with the Cole finish. Like, nothing against Adam Cole, but Cole versus Roddy versus MJF just feels like one of these things is not like the other. Like not in a bad way, just like a hey, listen, go sit in catering. We'll call you in like a bit. So, Robbie.
For me, my match of the night actually was the opening match of the night between the Bang Bang Gang and Christian Cage and Hangman Adam Page.
Page and Page on the same team.
It was so good. Like, I love the fact, too, they tied everything in with Hook, taking out Nick Wayne out of the equation. And then just looking on the face of Christian Cage and Kip Sabian going, what the hell just happened? The way that match was going too, and Jay White was hitting some lethal dragon screws. Like, at one point, I thought he actually injured Hangman at one point after Hangman did a jump, and next thing you know, he's tripping up like, oh God, don't be injured. And then he took advantage of that, did the dragon screw. To me, there was a lot of great matches and a lot of great storytelling, especially with how that match ended, especially in going into next week of Full Gear between Jay White, because Hangman pinned Juice Robinson in that match after a hellacious headshot with the damn clipboard. Like, Juice is going to be feeling that tomorrow morning. And overall, fun match. That is how you open up AEW Dynamite, and that's how you get a crowd going for the rest of the night. It set the tone, in my opinion.
Absolutely. That could have easily, like you said, been a main event, and that set the tone. And Robbie, you are going to be setting the tone for the Jobber of the Night, powered by comicbookclick.com. Like we said, hey, you into nerd culture, you want to have comic book news, you want to have pop culture news, wrestling news, hey, go check out comicbookclick.com. Robbie, who's your Jobber of the Night?
My Jobber tonight is going to be the AEW production team. Whoever thought it wasn't a good idea to not put any lighting in that backstage when Roddy Strong and Archer went back there, that is definitely a thing that needs to be fixed. Is that production team knowing where to go, where the lighting is, and even when they put the spotlight on, you still couldn't barely see anything because they put the spotlight on the wrong damn spot. So for me, the job of the night is the AEW production team, because to me it wasn't any wrestlers, because all the wrestlers, in my opinion, did pretty good tonight. It's once again an AEW production thing.
That's fair. That's fair.
And Caesar, what is your job of the night?
I just got like 3 different names in my head, but I'm trying to give one like a legitimate one, not just like that one. Britt, honestly, like, yes, she's back. Yes, she's doing the whole DMD thing, but it's almost like the aura's not there. It's gone. I don't know how else to explain it other than
I
that.
felt that too.
Even like, Britsburg didn't hit when she was there.
Like I told you guys before, I was busy taking care of something off stream while that match was happening. So if I can't even keep my attention going, yeah. Sorry, Britt.
And add on to what Caesar was saying, don't you guys think maybe it's all the backstage things that have been reported with Britt Baker, and that's why that aura's pretty much fading away? Is it the fans turning on her?
I hope they don't say that the aura's gone because the relationship is over. That's stupid. Like, I'm just saying, like, she has a personal life. She's gonna date people, okay? You don't like it? Cool. You like it? Cool.
I mean, I'm sure, there's so many different things. Now she's dealing with the after effects of a TIA, dealing with
the argument she had with MJF.
Yeah, so much backstage drama, which isn't even the first time we've heard of her being involved in backstage drama. And yeah, her probably not being as powerful backstage as she used to be when it came down to certain dramas. So yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of different things going on, and it's a shame because she was without a doubt their top woman for a very long time.
I give it like a few months to a year before it turns around somehow.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, nothing lasts forever how it is, so it's entirely possible she was able to find her way out of there, but we'll see. At any rate, jobber of the night for me, I'm going to have to go with, and I'm happy that I get the chance to say this because I love him as a wrestler, and I can't wait to see more of him in AEW. I'm going to say JD Drake. How often do I get the chance to shout out JD Drake on a Dynamite show?
Not very often.
Exactly, and why do I feel like the Death Riders purposely wanted to give JD Drake a little payday by having him be the guy that they attacked, just to have him feature an episode of Dynamite?
Or they went into like catering or somewhere in the back and went, "What are you doing tonight? Nothing. Come with us."
Honestly, and I kind of dig that if they give like a different veteran on the roster some type of praise.
Any kind of praise, exactly.
Marcus Rivera says, "Hey guys, how did the new AEW Dynamite go?" Honestly, I'd say overall, great episode. I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't. But, of course, when we go for Jobber of the Night, we have Megastar of the Night, powered by Cold Case Project. My brother Tony helps run the Cold Case Project, the channel that focuses on all kinds of disappearances, murders, and other cold cases. If you want a video format, it is on YouTube, and if you want audio, it is on Spotify. Go check that out if you are into true crime. And Megastar time, I have to say, there's a lot of options here. This was a fantastic episode.
Right.
There's so many options. So I gotta leave a few because I know you guys are gonna grab them if I don't. But I have to go with Roderick Strong. He looked absolutely incredible tonight. He brought psychology, he brought logic, and he managed to beat a third monster. The story that he's been telling in this whole series leading up to MJF has been phenomenal, and I just love Roddy. I mean, how can you not? He's one of the most entertaining wrestlers on the roster. He, without a doubt, can out-wrestle 99% of the people on the roster. You can put him in any spot, anywhere on the card. He can be in a main event. He can be in the start of the show. He can be anywhere in the middle, and he'll just knock it out of the park every single time. He is vastly entertaining, great mic work. I gotta go with him. He is just perfect. He did amazing tonight.
Don't forget the fact that you could probably give Roddy 10 to 15 minutes or even just 10 minutes and probably could deliver better than some with a 20-minute match.
Exactly. Just throw him out there, give him a microphone. It's just 10 minutes alone, even like he will just kill it and he'll be entertaining the entire time. So Roderick Strong, that's my megastar of the night. Caesar?
I want to say 2 names. I'm gonna be a greedy bastard for 30 seconds. you guys can easily probably guess my 2 picks. I want to see if you guys can, just for a giggle. Take 2 guesses.
Let me guess. It was gonna be my picks: Kyle Fletcher and Will
No,
Ospreay.
actually, believe it or not.
Really?
Really?
I mean,
That's what I was thinking you were going to say.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love me some United Empire Aussie Open Shenane, but just for a good giggle because of a certain 2 points of the night. One being Chris Statlander for putting CEO into next week.
Oh,
Are you seriously? If we had
Shoot,
a reaction
figure that.
cam to me, I almost I screamed. So, like, I was so happy she got put. I hope it was just bare floor on the other side, not even like a crash pad.
Who was your other pick, Caesar?
And my other one, because of her amazing assets, is Mina. I'll be that guy tonight. I'll be Jerry the King Lawler for tonight. All right, Robbie, take this home.
I'll pop the
Actually,
picture up.
My picks that I was saying. It is Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. The fact that those two have been this really awesome storyline that is filled with betrayal, filled with great promos out of the both of them, how both of them promo-wise tonight were just so much unequal. I love how they are giving the wrestling minds the little bit of that sympathy when Will had sat there and said, like, you disappointed my 6-year-old son and you disappointed me. Like, as in Kyle Fletcher was like an uncle to his child. Like, he was an actual brother to his family. And the Screwdriver is so metaphorically gifted in this storyline with everything that is Don Callis has been putting through with the Don Callis family for the past year with Will Ospreay. It's poetry, and to me, besides everything going on with the Death Riders, that this is to me the second best storyline in AEW right now is these two, and I cannot wait to see these two tear it up in Full Gear next weekend. Those are my megastars in the night. Thank you, Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, for a wonderful set
actually
that
Coil,
you two put
remember?
on tonight.
Yeah,
Yes, it's
Robbie, I
Coil,
absolutely
Fletcher
agree there
and Will
with everything
Ospreay.
you said.
Coil Fletcher.
You gotta
These
see
two
how
guys
Nick
knocked it out of the
says
park.
it. You gotta say it.
Oil Fletcher.
Fletcher.
But Robbie, you absolutely hit the nail on the head with these two guys. I mean, if it wasn't for just Roddy being a show stealer earlier in the show, I would have absolutely said these two because they just did everything that you absolutely needed to do to build an incredible storyline that has a lot of emotion behind it. And if you're not building the company around Will freaking Ospreay, like, what are you doing? And Kyle Fletcher as the antithesis to Ospreay, I could dig it. And just too, everyone that's a part of the storyline with them, and it's so interwoven with so many other storylines, but everyone that's a part of it feels better off because of it.
And it's honestly, I just can't wait to see what is more in store for both Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher after these roads are going. Hopefully, it won't be the last thing we see Kyle Fletcher in when it comes to megastar status, when it comes to storylines.
Maybe like he takes a break after Full Gear, like misses the fallout from Full Gear and then comes back 2 weeks after. That'd be an idea.
Not gonna lie, I kind of wouldn't mind this actually. Before we go, I won't mind seeing Kyle Fletcher pull a Matt Hardy from back in the day, and Kyle Fletcher goes after the junior heavyweights in New Japan, and at Wrestle Kingdom or at Wrestle Dynasty, he takes the junior heavyweight title to throw it in Ospreay's face. I would like to see that.
You can do, I can do better. I would love to see it.
Exactly.
But hey, chat, that has been AEW Dynamite covered by the Dirt Sheet Radio crew. Chat, if you enjoyed hanging out with us, I know we enjoyed hanging out with each other and with you. Hey, make sure you go and follow us on all our social medias. You can go and find me. I post a lot on the Dirt Sheet Radio page. Go to Dirt Sheet Radio's Facebook, and you'll see Nick Rocco posting a lot of videos, a lot of news, and maybe a lot of Halo stuff. I've been enjoying talking Halo with everyone, especially celebrating 20 years of Halo 2, one of the greatest games I've ever played in my entire life, and has completely changed, dare I say, changed the game for me. It's one of the best. If anyone wants to play some Halo 2, feel free to reach out and let me know. But yeah, like I said, you can find me, Nick Rocco, on Facebook. Caesar, where are they going to be finding you?
So as always, I'm hanging out with these two fine gentlemen and other man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John Escudero, but he's busy tonight, which happens. And as always, I am on the stream over with the boys, Tyler, CJ, and as always, John Escudero on the Monday Night Raw episode. As for social media locations, you can see right there in my tagline, it is NoobTube on the socials. I'm not going to name all 101 of them because we all want to go home and go to bed or go watch more pro wrestling. Or hell, we could always ask, Robbie, where can we find you on the socials?
And for tonight, I'm actually going to keep it nice and short for the socials. You can see me as well commenting on the Dirt Sheet page at Robert Rourke. You can sit there and also come on and DM with whatever questions you may have when it comes down to it. And also, and on Instagram as well, which is Rourke_Rob 2001. And you guys can catch me there. And honestly, mostly I'm going to be more problem to answer on Facebook. So go over on Facebook and go get that all down. And what a night.
Honestly, I mean, we went nearly 2 hours on this because this was one of the most stacked Dynamites they've had in a very long time.
It was actually a good flowing episode, too.
It was, too, for such a stacked card.
It was.
Man, but we covered this episode that was building up towards Full Gear. Of course, when the time comes on November the 23rd, that's a Saturday, right? Yeah, Saturday, November 23rd.
Yes.
Of course, Dirt Sheet Radio is going to be covering the recap episode of Full Gear. So we'll be talking all about that and posting all the results as well. But if you enjoyed hanging out with us, chat, this is Dirt Sheet Radio. We are always on. So, hey, go and check us out. Of course, Monday nights for Monday Night Raw. We heard a little bit about that earlier. Look at this, fellas. We got a new graphic.
Oh, my God.
See on Tuesday nights for that rewind.
Flip that trick.
That
Sexy.
trick. Hey, you're already here, so you know all about this. The Wednesday Night Dynamite Rewind. Make sure to join us next week when we're going to be talking all about the next episode of AEW Dynamite. I believe that will be the go-home Dynamite for Full Gear as well. So go and watch that. You know it's going to be a banger episode, especially because we're hanging out and talking. After this, maybe wait a couple hours, the best kept secret in wrestling podcasting will be on. And it's going to be the Dirt Sheet Radio flagship, the show that started this all. And there we go. John Escudero, Greg Thomas will be on tonight. Maybe I'll stick around. Maybe Mac will be on. We'll see how that goes. But speaking of Nick and Mac, Mac and I will be having our WCW Halloween Havoc 1998 recap show on the 22nd, the night right before Full Gear. So go and check that out. Robbie, are you going to be joining us on that one too, or no?
The Robbie cake?
We'll see, because I have found out that my job right now have cut my hours, and this Friday I have off, but let's see if they give me off next week. So right now it's 50-50 at this point.
All right, but yeah, so hey, check that out. Halloween Havoc 1998. A lot of people mentioned that this was one of the best wrestling show stages of all time, but the pay-per-view itself, not so much. And we all know the controversy going on when it comes down to the show going a little bit overtime and then having to get cut for a lot of markets. And this was one of the biggest disasters in WCW history, and definitely one of the kill shots when it came down to them. Caesar?
Question, since you're going to be covering this topic, was that the WCW pay-per-view where like they accidentally cut the show early and had to tell everyone about the results on like a Thunder?
Yes. So they cut the show. We got the horrible Hogan Warrior rematch that was 8 years in the making, and then it was time for the match everyone was looking forward to at the time, Goldberg and DDP.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Feed ends, and a lot of people did not get to see the finish. So then they had they showed the entire finish on Nitro. But Mac and I, and possibly whoever else wants to join us, we will be talking all about that and more, all the rumors that were going into it. And of course, getting back onto the Dirt Sheet Radio lineup, Thursdays, you've got the TNA Impact post-show rewind. We got Smack Sound, because it looks like two S's, doesn't it? Recap, Friday Nick Mac, baby. Let's go.
That should be the logo. Friday Nick Mac.
Exactly.
Same font too.
We gotta do something like this. Hey, CJ and Tyler, they're gonna be talking about wrestling at some point every Sunday. We'll see what they talk about. But speaking of hanging out on Sundays, check out the boys at 3NT. They're gonna be talking about anything and everything pro wrestling. But hey, again, chat, thank you so much for joining us. You are awesome. We love you. If you are going to be watching this later on, again, make sure you go to the very start where we talk about the main event and then get into the rest of the show. But for Caesar,
Yes.
for Robbie, for John, for the rest of the Dirt Sheet team, I am Nick LaRocco, and we say a thank you and good night. See you on the Dirt Sheet Radio.